Hi friends, it's Deanna here today, and today we're going to be sewing the crossover top pattern. This is super cute crossover top. It hangs loose. It is super flattering. It's got the nice, at the bottom, the hem kind of goes crossover. So I'm super excited about it. This pattern is amazing, and it's got the dress version and the top version. So we have two different videos for that. So this is the video for the top version, but check out the video for our dress version as well, so you can make that one because it is also beautiful. So let's go ahead and get started. Okay, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to grab our bodice, and we're actually going to grab some clear elastic, which gives us stability, especially if you're using like a looser knit that's going to hang. You want that support at the shoulders so that it hangs nicely. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab my clear elastic, and I'm going to measure my width of my shoulder seam, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a little bit extra just so I can handle it and hold it while I'm sewing. Sometimes, honestly, I don't even cut my elastic yet. I put it on there and then I cut it once I'm done. That way it kind of gives me a handle on it. But you can go ahead and cut it and add an extra inch to hold, however you want to do it. We do have a video on our YouTube page that talks about clear elastic, so go check that out if you have any more questions. I'll add the link. And yeah, so that would be the first step. Now, what we're gonna do is we're gonna move on to the back, and we're gonna grab our back pieces because it's cut in two. I know some of you ask, why do we do the piece not on the fold for the back? Sometimes it is better to do it on the fold, and the reason is because of the fact that our backs are not really one straight plane. If you look at your back, you have a sway in your back. So cutting it in two pieces, mirrored pieces, gives us the opportunity to have that little bit of a sway in the back to give you a way better fit in the back, and it looks so nice when you are wearing it. So that is why this piece is on the fold, mirrored. And if you have questions, again, about how to cut your patterns and stuff like that, we also have a video on that on our YouTube channel. So check those out. There are so many videos that are so helpful on there and how to prep to actually create your pattern. Because I know I get a lot of questions sometimes on how do you cut the fabric or how do you print the pattern. Check out those videos. I will add those links so you can check them out. So I'm gonna go ahead and sew that back together first, and then we'll move on and I'll show you where that clear elastic is gonna come into place. All right, that back seam is sewn. I like to go ahead and we wanna go ahead and steam that back seam to make it nice and even. And if you want to go on in there and top stitch that back seam down, you can certainly do so. I don't usually like to when I'm using like a dressier top, when I'm making like a cute dressy top, but if it's more sporty, I usually will sew it down, but it is up to you if you want to go ahead and top stitch that down. What I'm going to do is I'm going to grab my bodice. Here's my bodice, and I'm putting it face up. And I'm gonna grab my front piece, and as you can see, here is my arm side area. This is my front area, which is long. It goes straight and long. So I wanna make sure that I place it in the right place. See how that matches up with the sleeve? Well, that's gonna go on these shoulders. So this is this side of the shoulders. And then I'm gonna place them right sides together. And then I'm gonna grab this elastic, and my elastic is gonna go right there, right on top. So we're gonna put those two. So what you can do is, if you wanted to sew your elastic first to your bodice, you can do that, or if you wanna sew them all at the same time, which is what I do, you can do that as well. If you want to, again, you can go check out that video of the different ways to attach clear elastic. We're gonna go over to my serger or sewing machine, whatever you're using, and we're gonna sew the shoulder seams, and the elastic is gonna be encased in that seam. And we're gonna do that for both sides. Here's my elastic. I have a little piece here in the back. And what we're gonna do is I'm gonna get it right under my foot, my layers of sweater and my elastic, and I'm gonna grab it from back here so that it's just laying on that raw edge. Now you don't, oh no, let me go ahead and put that down so it gets stuck in there. You don't want to pull your elastic. You're not trying to make your elastic stretch. You're just letting it lay right there on top. So once we get started, okay, so now it already got started, so it's already stuck on there. It should be good. You shouldn't have to pull on it at all. You just have to keep it straight. And that is why I don't usually cut it, because I don't want to pull it. I just want to keep it straight in there. And it will be encased in that seam right there that I'm making. Okay, here when we get to the end, I'm just gonna grab my scissors and cut my little piece of elastic off. And now my elastic is right there. It's encased. You can't even see it on the outside. It's in that casing of my seam. See right here, you can kind of see a little bit of it because I didn't catch it all the way. I might go back and sew over that again. But we're gonna do the same thing on the other arm. Now it is encased. See, this one I went a little bit easier because I went and made sure that my shirt wasn't all the way too far in. And there it is. Now that we're done with our elastic, we're gonna go ahead and grab our bodice and we're gonna open it up, first of all, to the front. And let me trim all these little pieces of thread. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna go ahead and hem our bodice. Now, it's easier to hem now than when it's all put together, because when it's put together, it will round it out and it's kind of more difficult to sew. So we're gonna start with our neckline. We're just all the way down our neckline. We're just gonna fold that 1/2 inch seam allowance. If you're using like a nice sweater knit or something like that, make sure you're careful with the your setting on your iron, that you're not gonna burn your clothing, your fabric. I do that. Ooh, steam, I love steam. I do that. Sometimes I've done that and it's not the best. I don't love it. Okay, I don't love it. And we're gonna just go ahead and hem that whole neckline. So I'm just folding it all 1/2 inch down. Now, if you need help with hemming, we do have quite a few tutorials on that on our channel about different ways of hemming. So make sure you check those out. I will link those under, but check them out. Honestly, you do need to just, if you haven't, you need to subscribe to our channel so you don't miss all the good videos that we have, all the helpful videos that we have, sewing videos. All right, I'm gonna keep going and all the way down the front side, the neckline. Since I'm already at it, I'm gonna go ahead and prep also the bottom of my top. You see how right here there's this curved edge? This is the front of my bodice. It's a curve. And so we're gonna hem that. So we're gonna do the same steps for both sides. And then last but not least, I'm also going to go ahead and hem my back of my shirt. The bottom back of my shirt. I want to go ahead and get everything hemmed at the same time. Now I'm going to be sitting over there by my cover stitch. I will use a cover stitch for this hem, but you can use any kind of stretch stitch on your sewing machine. Just make sure that you don't use something so tight that's going to overstretch your bodice. If you're using a very loose knit fabric and you think it's going to overstretch and hang, you may also want to use the same clear elastic, the same method that we used for our sleeves. You may want to use that on our neckline as well, so it gives it more stability, so it keeps it more straight, so it's not like, you know, like falling down on you. I don't even know how to say that. Sagging? Yeah, I guess that's the word. All right, once we are done hemming, we want to make sure that we steam those hems. Look at it. First, it looks kind of wavy, but honestly, you give it a good steam. Again, make sure your iron is set right so you don't burn your fabric. And honestly, giving it a good steam always helps those hems sit really, really nicely. So let's give it a good steam all the way around. While I'm steaming, I'm gonna let you know, I know people ask me all the time where my fabric came from, and I wanted to let you all know. This is a faux alpaca from Olga's Closet. It is super easy to sew, and it is super, super soft, super comfy, and I think it's gonna make a beautiful crossover sweater. I'm excited. So now we're gonna move on to our sleeve. So I've got my side. This is where my arm is. I'm gonna open it up. Here's my shoulder seam. I'm gonna grab my sleeve, and we can find that top middle of it so we know exactly where the middle is. And I like to either clip a little notch right there so I can find it, or just pin it. And then we're gonna match that with our shoulder seam, and we're gonna put it right sides together. And we're gonna go down one side and then down the other, and we're gonna do that for both sleeves, and then we're gonna go over and sew them. I'm gonna try to show you here on my mat, but it is kind of better if you have a bigger space to put this down on. We're gonna start with this right side, and we're gonna fold, this is the front piece, right on top of my bodice, and we're going to match up those sleeves right sides together right here at that armpit seam and all the way down to the end of my sleeve, right sides together. And then we're gonna come down to that where it finishes right here, where it starts to turn into the round, when it starts to go around, turn into the round, go around. And we're gonna put that right there. So that's gonna be this side, the right side. And then on the other side, we're gonna start from where it curves at the bottom, and we're gonna place that, match those raw edges at the bottom, and then go up to that edge where it is, that side right there. Okay, so it's like it's coming over and you're sewing from the bottom, match up those the bottom and sew that right there, and this side right here. Now if you want to, you can go ahead and baste that down first, or you can go ahead and grab the other side, and we're doing the same thing to the other side. So from my armpit all the way down my sleeve, and then this side is gonna go down just past the one side that comes over, so it's gonna go down just past that on the side. Again, if you want to go ahead and baste those together where the 3 layers meet, you can go ahead and do that. Sometimes, and I don't have a pin around me right now, sometimes even if I don't top baste, trying to figure out the word, I will put like a pin or something on the inside so it keeps that stable so it doesn't move. You can do that as well. And then we're gonna grab the other side, and that's gonna go on top. So we're gonna match up right here at the bottom where the hems are, match those hems, which once we sew that, if we're using a serger, we'll just tuck those tails in. And then we're gonna go up so that it overlaps right here. It overlaps just a little bit on that side. And then again, if you wanna baste that down, you can, but we're gonna sew those sides. So we're gonna sew it down on one side and down on the other side. Okay? Now, after I do that, I'm also going to grab my cuffs and I'm going to get them ready. And by doing that, I'm gonna fold them right sides together along that raw edge, and we're gonna turn them into like cuffs, obviously, because that's what they are. And then sew those raw edges together, right sides together, to prep them to put them on. Make sure once you have sewn everything together, you look and see that you caught everything, that you didn't leave anything unsewn on those sides, and everything like that, so you can go check. Now right here at the edges. If you did use a serger, you'll have a tail. You can, there's different ways you can tuck in that tail. We do have a video, I'll link below, that tells us how to tuck in those tails, what to do with those tails. There's so many different ways to do it. So go check it out. I might zigzag stitch it or tuck it in there. And then we're gonna go ahead and do our cuffs. And that's our last step. We're gonna fold the cuff wrong sides together and match that seam. And then I'm gonna match the other side. Just make sure those raw edges are touching. And then go from that seam to the front, and that is your half. I don't quarter my bands, my arm bands, because they're so small. I just half them. So then I grab my sleeve and I half that as well. Half. And then I tuck in my, you can either tuck it in to the sleeve, or you can fold the sleeve inside out and put it over the sleeve, either one. And then match those half points. And then we're gonna go over to our sewing machine and sew that together by stretching lightly all those raw edges together. So you know you're matching the right side of the sleeve to the right side of the cuff. And let's do that for the other one as well. All right, friends, we are done with this gorgeous, gorgeous sweater. I am super excited about it. I love this style and this fabric. I feel like it was meant for the sweater. So I hope you enjoyed this sewing tutorial. Please comment, like, share, subscribe if you haven't. And also, oh yes, check out our other video where we show how to make the dress version, and then let me know, come back and let me know which one's your favorite, the dress version or the top version. Let me know. Also, I did not do my little strap on here. I will probably do it on the dress version just to show you how to do it. But if you are going to be doing the strap, all you need to do is you want to try it on first, and then make the strap by folding right sides together, sewing, turning it around, and then make sure that you see where you want to place that strap, where the strap will fit better for you, higher, lower, and then you will understitch that strap to the dress, to the top. And also, if you want to, and I might, once I try it on, I'll see how it lays, but it usually lays really nicely. But if you want to put like a modesty tack right here, just so when you bend down or something, it's not gonna flip open, that is something that also you can do right here. But I would say just try it on first to see how it fits. But I am loving it, and I can't wait to try it on and show you all a picture of it. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. Comment, like, share, subscribe if you haven't, so you never miss any of our sewing tutorials or our helpful videos. I hope you have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you all next time. Bye!